always just brings back like first day memories for me of walking around and being stunned by everything and feeling very small. This one for me, it brings back those scenes in the forest with the Thestrals. I love the Thestrals, and those little scenes where Harry got to know Luna and trust her and see her not as a crazy person. Yeah, that's what I think of.
There's no specific thing that brings back. It just brings back 10 years of visitors, actually, because I didn't film in the Forbidden Forest either, but every single day that I worked, the producers were kind enough to allow me to have at least 5 kids visiting, and they laid on someone to take them round. They went to all the sets, they went to the creature workshops, they went to the menagerie, and they would come to where we were shooting and meet everybody and often say action and cut and stuff. But the highlight for all of them always was going to meet Buckbeak and going to meet Aragog, going to meet the mermaids, and they always loved the creature workshop. So this addition to the studio tour means that people can have that experience. It just reminds me of how many visitors I have. How much I hate the word franchise. For me, franchise is you open a burger bar, it does quite well, you try and open 100 other burger bars. Or you make a film with some character in it, it kills a lot of people, it does all right, so you add a Roman numeral and you do another one until people stop buying tickets. And for me, this is a single story that Joe told with 7 books and 8 films with Warner Brothers, and there was nothing exploitational about it. While we were making it, whilst it is a business, everybody involved loved it. We were all fans of it, right from the top of the pyramid down. And that's what I think about. When I think about these things, I think about, as opposed to the rest of the business that I'm so often involved in, these were stories told with love and honour and respect that meant so much to the people who watched them or read them and inspired them and helped them in as stories can do when they're at their best.
I think, very simply for me, it's just family. Like, this is where I grew up and got to know myself and other people. And it's just something that saw me through my teenage years, like the books and then the movies, and it sort of symbolizes to me that you can be odd and uncomfortable but still find your place to fit in. Like, this is a universe of oddbods and eccentrics, and they all have their place.
So actually we've lost a lot of people. There were 3,000 people who worked on this. Alan was a magnificent actor, obviously, and Snape is unforgettable. But lots of the people, a number of the people are not around anymore. And it's not a cause for sadness, mate. You look at these things and you go, these were fabulously iconic characters that everybody created, including Alan. And they've either inspired or intimidated or affected people so much that all I feel when I look at things is affection. I look at the models of Snape around and I just, it makes me laugh. He was a very funny, very dry man with a very dry sense of humour. And I don't feel loss. I feel the joy of having known him and worked with him.
And they've all left a piece of themselves here. Like, for me, John Hurt, when he just passed, I really do see him as Ollivander. When I read the books, I see his spooky eyes, and his everything about him. So that's still with me and always will be, and will be with so many other children. And same with Alan Rickman.
Richard was my first Dumbledore. My first scene was with the late great Richard Harris, who was scared the socks off me.
Really?
As Lucius, not off camera at all, but yeah. So there's lots of people we lost, but the fact is that they put these markers down that will never be forgotten.
I am very happy and comfortable in the Harry Potter world, and I learned so much from a character, from Luna, about how to accept yourself and everything and love yourself, and I'd absolutely love to. I think Luna's story is really interesting, and she definitely took a different route. Like, the fact that she wasn't even in Cursed Child, obviously it speaks a lot that she's independent and would go and do her own thing and explore this vast magical universe. So I'd love to pick up wherever she is. And I know she gets married to Newt Scamander's grandson, so she is part of that story, but I'm afraid I'll be old and wrinkly by the time that film comes around.
Or maybe not old enough, because Joe likes to play with time, and if it's an old Luna, I'm available. I'm just saying, I can do the accent, I'm a reasonable mimic. The wig is still around. The point about great stories is they deal with universal issues of both personal issues of love and loss and faith and loyalty, and also with, Joe's a very political person, and you don't need to scrape the surface too far to see what her stories were about. But anyone who thought they were specifically about the 1940s or Hitler, the rise of fascism, I think were too reductive. The story she's got to tell is about inclusion and bigotry that is applicable at all times, and we need to be vigilant for at all times.
I actually would say Draco, but I think Tom's portrayal made me more fascinated by him. He really, like, in film 6, Half-Blood Prince, he broke my heart, just how conflicted he was and how he felt all this pressure to be someone, but also was so miserable and so lonely. And to betray you, you're like...
I thought Draco was the hero of the piece because he went against all of the bonds of his childhood and everything he'd been groomed to do.
And didn't have any victory from it. You know, nobody praised him at the end.
But who would I have liked to be if I wasn't me? I think I might have liked to have been Bellatrix because Helena was just let off the leash to chew the scenery and do whatever her fabulously insane, twisted mind led her to. And that looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, nothing's that impressive when you're doing it. It's all, my very first day, the very first magical thing I did was wave my hand and shut the door by magic, which was people with a piece of fishing wire attached to the door that I tried not to trip over that kept on catching. And, all of the truly fantastical things are always something very mundane, and a bloke with tattoos you hope is paying attention.
Yeah, true. I just found the wand stuff, like, I was so excited to get a wand and worked so hard at, like, having the right gusto to say the spell, and nothing happened, and it was just, I always felt so silly, like there were all these people, these older people watching me, and I just felt silly, but they made it work. And by the second film I was like, right, I need to put more into my spells. They look awesome. I love the Christmas party dress, which is actually on the set, because it looks so festive. She really looks like a Christmas tree, and I love that she goes for, like, themes, and it's not about looking cute, it's about looking cool, about looking like the event. Being a spectacle. I love that one, and I love the lion hat as well, because it was so weird and such a statement, and I kept forgetting I was wearing it, so it really helped actually, because people were looking at me funny, and I just had that oblivious feeling that Luna always has.
I just like dressing up. I mean, as a man, as an actor, you don't normally get to change the way you look very much. And acting is not a particularly serious job, a lot of the time, or at least you're trying to be childlike. And to play dress up and wear a wig and costumes and have a cane and all that stuff is you don't generally get to do as a man when you're older than 5.
Mm-hmm.